Hey everyone, how's everyone doing? Today, for those of you who follow the channel, I know you guys are used to see some basketball and NBA content. Today, since it's the start of the football season and I don't know too much about football, Eric, my good friend, also known as NFTY Sports, right?
There we go. You got it. Nifty Sports.
Right. So we got Nifty Sports is gonna help me and help whoever's watching to kind of get prepared for the second week of the football season. I'm sure you got a lot of stuff to share with us, and let's just jump right into it. I'm gonna share the screen. I suggest we can start by looking what's going on in the market by looking at on the moment. Um, Obviously most of the things that we see are trending up are like challenge related, right?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that stuff going on right now. There's a couple of them that are still active, a couple of them that have gone up and down. Um, some bottlenecks that we've seen our first bottlenecks in challenges this week. So assuming the audience is familiar with NBA Top Shot and how that whole challenge dynamic works, Gabe Davis was the first one that shot up to like $85-$90 range,
That was awesome.
which is pretty crazy. Yeah.
So here's a story, and here's why my first week in the all day was so awesome. So I was trying to figure out like a lineup for Rumble, and I had like everything ready besides like the flex position. And
Okay.
I asked a friend, like, okay, like who's the guy, because it's fantasy, so you want to differentiate yourself. So I asked him like who's the guy that's like not someone that will have like high ownership but can like go off. And it was like Gabe Davis. So I got him for like $19, put him in my lineup, and then that happened, and I like sold it for like 4x or something like that. So my first week was awesome. Since, yeah. Oh, and also I didn't even we just talked before the video, and I didn't even get to tell you that I actually watched your video several weeks ago. You made a video about like the first game with the I think where you suggested to get a Cooper Cup. You remember this
Yep.
one?
There
Yeah.
we
So
go.
I actually watched it. You talked about his rare, but I didn't have the dapper to go for the rare, so I just went for the common. I got a couple of them, and like I got him for like under $20, and he got to like 45, $46. So that was awesome. So I had a really good first week, but it was just luck. I like never watched football besides Super Bowl before this week, and it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, no, I'm glad that it worked out well for you. I think a lot of the strategy behind the first couple weeks is knowing that there's not going to be any new moments released, right? So if you
Exactly.
take a look at those Rumble heroes, right, there's always going to be a Thursday night challenge. There's always going to be an opportunity to lock in a very high score. And what ended up happening was what I kind of said it was going to happen. I locked in my Cooper Cup rare as my Rumble hero, and it ended up being a massive score. So 31.8, you multiply that by 1.25, and his score ended up being closer to 40 points.
That's good. That's
So
good.
it's nice. Yeah.
So that was my lineup. It didn't go that well for me. I tried.
I like the Kirk Cousins play. I mean, that's a nice one with you got the hero in there, pretty good.
Yeah, so I tried listening to a few podcasts, and I knew if I'm gonna play all the good players, like I won't have any shot of doing like of being like in the top. So
Sure.
I tried to go with like someone with low ownership with Kirk Cousins, and the rest of them I tried to do like like known names and stuff. It didn't go too well, but that's okay. It's just the first week. How did you do? Like, do you know where you stand, like as far as positioning? Does anyone know?
Man, it's hard. It's going to be really hard. Look at right in the middle right there. 7,500 people entered it and only 300 get prizes, right? So to
Mhm.
get up into that space is going to be a lot. My score ended up being 147. Not in the money. I think you needed to be up closer to the 200 point range to get into the top 300 people. So
Makes
It
sense.
would have been a lot closer than that for me had I decided to play Keenan Allen as well in the flex. But I wanted to put I decided to put him in there instead of Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson scored close to 40 points. So that alone right there. Plus, I didn't put in, I sold a Travis Kelce rare into a challenge and I didn't buy him
Wow.
back. Um,
I just got
I
him today, by the way, like the
a
comment, not
comment, a
the comment.
comment. Yeah, I should have picked up a I should have picked up a comment and put them in, but by the time it came around, I was a little bit too late, and I wanted to differentiate a little bit too. I was hoping to get a couple touchdowns from from Hayden Hurst. So I'm with Hayden Hurst. He got me a solid 10 points, but definitely wasn't the biggest score of the week. So it's fun. It's fun. It's just gonna be really hard to get up into that top 300 with this many people playing, but we came we're gonna try every day.
Yeah, I mean, like you only need one good week and like to win the big money. I'm not talking about like being like at like the top 300, but like if you have like one good week, just one, like maybe you can be, I don't know, top 5 or anything like that.
There you go. And know when, I mean, the rules on Rumble are a little bit different, right? And they're a little bit different than anything that we've seen before, for your Top Shot users, right? And I don't know who exactly is going to be watching this video, your audience, whether or not they're completely tuned into the rules of Rumble and everything like that. But I think it's just the way that they did it, you know, is really cool, just in engaging from a strategy standpoint, because you could have locked in 3 different people from last week and been completely happy. 4, call it 4, right? And then your lineup just dwindles a lot further down. If you would have had Josh Allen, if you would have had Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp, and the Bills, you would have had 4 of some of the top performers of the week. And I always, if it's there, I like taking it. I took Diggs and Kupp.
Nice.
The Bills, I wanted to try something different. I felt a lot of people were going that route. Josh Allen, I didn't have one of those. I felt like, Mahomes was going to have a really good week too. Luckily, I did have Mahomes, and he ended up scoring more than Josh Allen. So yeah, the strategy behind it is really cool. The fact that you have from Thursday to Sunday to make up your mind, and you don't have to make your final picks until the very last minute.
I like
Nice.
it. I like
Yeah.
it. I like it also, like from the NFT excitement, when it makes the markets to be more volatile, like
Yep.
because like people see who does really good on the Thursday game, so they start buying their moments. So like it's good. I think it's good for the market. I think it's really good.
Definitely. Just keep in mind, I think a lot of people need to keep in mind that things will change significantly when Series 2 comes out. We all saw that when the main example that I like to give on the bottlenecks from the basketball perspective, right? We all remember when Series 2 started coming out with, Series 3 started coming out. It went from people who had a 35K and a 40K. Then they started coming out with the 60Ks, kind of like at the early part of last season. And then there's no longer a bottleneck, right? You don't know when those are going to come out, and that potential just evaporates, right? And in addition to that, you also had the people with 35Ks and 40Ks, and then you also had the people with only 30Ks. I keep on going back to DeMar DeRozan. How many times did I make money on DeMar DeRozan because he only had one high mint common in Series 2? Buy a bunch of them, sell a bunch of them, and then they go back down. You buy them. As long as he doesn't have anything yet in Series 3, you're going to be okay, but you don't want to be stuck with the bag.
There's always this game of like trying to find like players that didn't have too many moments. There's always this, and like doing research, who has a 60K, who doesn't, like but here it's such an interesting topic, because here it's so different, because for a few reasons. I'll give you my take, and then you tell me what your thoughts. So first of all, if I had to bet, I think they wouldn't have new moments before week 4, because I think for a couple reasons. One is that it takes time to like logistically to approve it with the NFL and to mint and the video and like all that things to pick the moments. And also I guess they all also want to give themselves some time, like not to miss out on anything, because if they just take a moment for from the first or second week, maybe there was like a crazy moment in week 3 or week 4, and now they already made a moment, and they can only make so much moment. So like, so they want to, so I don't think it's gonna be before week 4, maybe even week 5. That would be my guess. I don't know, what do you think?
I agree. They already said in their roadmap, right, that it will be not a weekly drop schedule, right? And I think the longer that they wait, the better going into the season.
Oh yeah.
For those reasons that you mentioned, they don't want to mint multiple moments in the same rarity for each specific player. And right, like, look, there's 4 weeks of the season go by, and yeah, there's going to be a lot of good plays. But are there going to be a lot of good plays for a lot of good people? Maybe, like the more time that they give themselves for football to go by, the better. There's also injuries too. Like, unfortunately, that's just part of the sport. So,
Oh, yeah.
Dak Prescott already got injured. So if he's going to have, that's going to come to their strategy too. He's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks with the thumb surgery. So
I was just gonna ask you if like, that's the projection, 6 to 8 weeks.
yeah, that's what I saw recently. Yeah, this afternoon. So, so stuff like that, right? They're either going to have to wait, and Dak doesn't get all 3 tiers this year. He doesn't get a common, rare, legendary, or maybe they wait until the playoffs. Maybe they meant just the common when he comes back. Like, that's kind of his big debut moment. He, come back on his first return, he throws for 5 touchdowns. Like, incredible. Maybe it's on Thanksgiving Day. Something cool like that, and that could be a really good, that's then the ball's in their court. That's their opportunity to decide what they want to do. And a lot of that, I think they're leaving so that they can tailor based on the way that growth goes this season, based on what like how this playbook is able to be sustained.
Man, that was hard to figure out at the beginning.
Yeah.
Now I think I got it, but it was a bit overwhelming at the beginning to understand everything.
The playbook.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're taking something that you're used to. You're used to completing a challenge and getting a guaranteed reward, and going to something that's not a guarantee anymore, right? So you're completing these challenges, and that's one of the things that I think is going to be difficult for a lot of new people right now. Is I think that people are going to end up spending, and I'll just say right now, I didn't complete any of the challenges this week. I would have liked to, but first of all, I think I just kind of wanted to enjoy football this weekend, and I didn't want to be in front of my NFL All Day account while I was watching the games and stuff like that. I had some bets going too, but like, I do plan on participating in the playbook every once in a while, but I think I don't want to force it, because a lot of people will end up doing that, like paying that $85 for Gabe Davis. And remember that the first 2 levels of packs, you're only getting common moments. So there's going to be a lot of people who spend a lot of money and are going to be disappointed. Even the 3rd level pack, the 4th level pack, right? Anything under that 100 yards completion, you're not guaranteed to get anything good, and they only have a certain number of supply left. So maybe you do get something, but yeah, I tend to play it more on the safe side when I can, because I've gotten burned in the past, obviously, from playing, those types of games on Top Shot. And, there's obvious ways to mitigate your risk. Like, if you're selling a bunch of those Gabe Davises, if you happen to have like 4 or 5 of them that 4X, then you can use that for fun money, right? But
exactly.
Or you could also use it to buy something that you want long term, whatever you want to do.
So I'll tell you what's my strategy, and that's actually something I learned from Top Shot, which is funny because I feel like I did really good this week, and I feel like I did good because of my experience from Top Shot, even though I don't know anything about football really, but like, I knew exactly when to sell the moment, when like is the peak of the price. what my plan is. Like I already had a strategy. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew I don't want to chase the challenge. And what I decided to do is sell it at the peak, whether it's Cooper Cup. I had all three of them. I had Diggs, I had Cup, and I had Gabe Davis. And I also had CeeDee Lamb. I had all of those players who got a huge spike when challenges announced. And I sold all of them. And what I did is I waited for the challenge to be over. And then I got them back for a much lower price, obviously. Like that's pretty much how I looked at it. I saw it like okay, I just have an opportunity to get some free dapper. I'm gonna get those players back when they're after the challenge, when the price goes down. With this dapper I get, I'm gonna buy players for which is also a great segue for the game on this Thursday, like between Chiefs and Chargers, and that's what I did. The money I made from week 1, I spend it to getting ready for week 2.
Yep. That's a great strategy. It's a good way to build the collection. It's a good way to keep on moving forward and having fun too. You know, like if you don't have the money in there to play these contests, you never know what your chances of winning would be. And then you maybe not get the chance to sell another bottleneck and have, you know, ultimately get your, you know, one of these days, right? Maybe you'll want that rare Cooper Cup that you couldn't have dapper for. And, you know, if he just continues to do well throughout the rest of the upcoming weeks, there's just going to be more and more demand for that moment. I told people, I think when it was at $120, $125,
I remember. Great advice.
Something like that. And now it's well north of, it was like 225 or something like that. You know, so we'll see. Yeah, that's he's got 2 of them, but one of them's a debut, and you know, that's just a limited number of people who can play it. So especially with the hero.
For sure. So let me ask you one question about Rumble for next week. And then I want to ask you about the second week, regardless of Rumble. So in the DST plus position, the team position, let me go to week 2. What would be like a good 2 or 3 options for me to use on Rumble?
Okay, let's see here.
What would you use?
DST plus. Let's keep on scrolling down. We had some issues. The Cardinals look really bad on offense, and typically the Chiefs defense isn't even that good. So you could look at taking the Raiders there. I don't know, maybe they bounce back and have a better week though, but scroll down a little bit more and let me see.
This one, the Raiders?
I haven't 100% decided yet. They had a tough game last week against the best offense probably in all of football, the Los Angeles Chargers, and it wasn't too bad of a game for them. You know, and then the Cardinals just really didn't look good. They weren't really healthy. I think one of the receivers was out. Hopkins is obviously suspended. That could be a good one. And this is just off the top of my head. We're going to have to look into this a little bit more later, but keep on scrolling down a little bit and let's see what's in there.
Late games.
The Steelers, or you could also look for a team that has a really good defense and is kind of looking to bounce back, right? The Packers, right? They do have a strong defense, but they played a tough offense. They played the Minnesota Vikings, and now they have the Bears. And the Bears, you know, they beat the Niners. Niners have a good defense, but they, you know, like the field conditions were crazy. I don't know if you saw the game, but it was, you know, they're playing in a pool of water. It was, you know, 3 inches of rain on the field. So that's just, not making excuses. I am a Niners fan, but it's just a wild card, right? So I like maybe that as an option.
We got Packers as an option, the Riders, and let me scroll up.
Steelers, if you're going off of last week, right? The Steelers look pretty good. They lost TJ Watt, one of their best pass rushers, but
how long is he out for?
I don't know. I didn't catch that info.
Okay.
I didn't catch that info, but that's a possibility right there too. So those are a few things. Those are a few. Just after watching.
Who do you got between the Chiefs and the Chargers?
Man, that's a tough one. It's in Kansas City. I'm probably going to go with Kansas City.
Okay. Okay.
I think that's going to be a really good game. I'm excited to watch it, but I think that sorry.
No worries.
I am going to go with the Chiefs because it's at home. They just looked really, really good on offense last week. And I think the Chargers will be ready for that game. And I think they're going to end up, maybe running into each other in the playoffs. It's going to be crazy. Yeah,
So
that's all those three teams, the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Bills this year.
okay. So to recap, you're saying like the Steelers, the Packers, and the Riders, you said could be good options, possibly.
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. So
Okay.
those are a few that I'm looking at for sure. Not financial advice, but
Oh yeah, for sure.
those are a few that I'm looking at.
Okay, and let me show you my collection. It's not too big. I only have 29 moments, but a few things I got to get ready, mainly from the Chiefs, I guess. I got some things because I assume that every Thursday we're gonna have a challenge revolving the Thursday game, right?
Yep.
So I already went ahead and got some things for week 2 and week 3. I got Clyde Edwards, Travis Kelce. I got Amari Cooper because in week 3, it's I think the Browns are playing someone, I forgot who.
Yep.
I went ahead. Oh, this I got in a pack, these two, James Conner.
Okay. Nice.
And I went ahead and got Juju Schuster also. And I also got these two players because I know it's their only moment and they play for the Rams, right?
The Chargers. Yeah, you're right.
I'm sorry, the Chargers. My bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. JC Jackson is a new Charger as of this year. Yep. Nice.
Yeah.
Good pickups. I like these pickups. Especially you got to, keep in mind here that people change teams in the offseason. So I like the Juju Smith-Schuster pickup too. And
Exactly.
the good thing about it too is I really actually like him for this week because he did not score a touchdown this first week. So they're going to want to give him some love, hopefully, and draw up some plays for him. Maybe he can make his first touchdown as a Chief at home in Kansas City.
Okay, it's a valid option. Maybe I'll give myself a couple of them so I can flip one and keep one. We'll see.
Let's see.
What would you be like? We have a few minutes left. What would you think about doing to get ready for this second week, whether it's specifically for Thursday or just to get ready for the challenges next week?
Yeah, and I think so. I jotted a couple notes down on this before we jumped on board, right? And I'm going to be releasing probably a full-length video on this, but just the way that I think about in terms of these upcoming challenges, right? It's what have we seen so far in the first week and what haven't we seen, right? So I kind of just charted it out, and we've seen a couple of the things that we haven't seen yet are rares and team moments. Right. So there's team moments out there. There's commons, there's rares. They're not necessarily all of them are debuts. Some of them have multiple team moments. We haven't seen those called yet. We haven't seen anything rare particularly called yet. So I don't expect a lot of rares, but I do kind of speculate on, one rare from either of the teams that are playing, much like they did for, they called any defensive player on either of the two teams, right? So last week it was any defensive player on Thursday night who took a snap for either the Rams or the Bills, defensive line, offensive line, defensive back, right? So scratch that out, throw rare in there. There's options out there for that. It makes it a little
maybe
bit
they're
harder.
gonna ask a rare, any rare of those two teams.
It could be any rare
Maybe.
for exactly. That's what I was saying. Any rare for those two teams. So there's more options. People can still play, but there's definitely still going to be a bottleneck when it comes to that, right? Like maybe not, because Gabe Davis, right? If you look at Gabe Davis or Julio Jones, only a 10,000 mint count on each of those. There's probably a lot more than 10,000 rares for the Chiefs and the Chargers combined than there are 10,000, right? So there's going to be a little bit of bottlenecking, but you never know. Yeah, so that's one of the things that I take a look at. And also kind of like, I think they're going to switch it up a little bit, but not too much, like I could see some repetition, right? A lot of top fives, you know, maybe they switch the same thing that they did on the Sunday afternoon to Sunday morning. Maybe they use a different set like they did for the historical, what was it, gridiron or opening acts, one of those two.
Yeah,
They
I
called
think
that.
opening act.
Okay, they called that for this Monday night game, or was it the Monday night game or the full week challenge? One of the
I think
two.
it was the full week. Was the
Full week.
yeah.
Yeah, because the Monday night is every touchdown scorer, right? So stuff like that, right? That's what I like to take a look at and speculate on, like what they're going to make small tweaks. I think I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy, but maybe we see some stuff that we haven't seen before, and we saw a lot, and they're going to get creative with it, keep us on our toes, but it'll be fun.
Oh yeah. Any specific, obviously not financial advice, but any specific players you had your eye on for next week?
For next week, let me see here. I haven't done one ton of planning on next week's OTM Rumble yet, but in terms of like flash challenge and stuff like that, like the Thursday night challenge, Juju was definitely one of them. Travis Kelce was one of them too. And I like to kind of take a look at a couple different things, right? Like, can you do, say for instance, right? Maybe you're speculating and it does become a bottleneck, but you also at the same time can lock it into your Rumble lineup. You get both, right? You have two of them, you lock one of them in. One's a nice play for Rumble, you can hold it long term, and then the other one you can sell and make a little bit of money. Because other people are going to want to lock it into their Rumble, or maybe it's even needed for a challenge. So stuff like that. Juju was one of them. What was I saying? Yeah, I think it's going to be a high scoring game on Thursday night. And you got to remember that one of the best receivers on that team, Keenan Allen, is probably going to be out with a hamstring injury too. And they like to spread the ball around. So that just gives options to other people out there. For Herbert to throw the ball.
Palmer gonna replace him, I think.
Palmer will be in there. You got guys like, I don't know, does Gerald Everett have a moment yet? I don't know if he does or not. But also you got guys like Mike Williams. I had planned on having the Keenan Allen rare for the same reason that I had the Cooper Kupp rare, but now Mike Williams could be the big touchdown threat on that one. So
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and then he had a rare at a pretty decent price too, and that's probably gone quite a bit up now for speculation on the Rumble hero. So you never know. I mean, he could have a very, very big week, but I think it depends.
Okay, I gotcha. Well, we're gonna wrap it up here, but I'm gonna ask you last question before we leave it here. Just like I asked my friend a week ago, who can go off that slow ownership, and he told me Gabe Davis. I don't expect the same results this week, but let's say I have most of my lineup, let's say, is ready. Who would you say could be a wild card to be a flex? And with that note, we can end this.
To be a flex for this upcoming week, who could be a wild card?
Yeah, who could be like a low ownership but could still go off? Like,
can we pull up a list of do you have like the flash to cash sheet or one of the? It's tough to do it off the top of my head, but are you talking specifically a Thursday night?
Oh no. Like who's just like from the top of your mind without going on stats, like someone who you think is like could be like a low ownership player and like could just go off any given week. Doesn't have to be next week.
I think let me see here. One of them that I like that could go off, low ownership. Even though I think so, here, you can think of it this way. I'll answer it this way because a lot of people they take into account what happened on the first week, and they say, oh, he wasn't targeted that much. Like the quarterback doesn't like throwing to him as much as he likes throwing to this other person. But then the next week things come around and things could change. Like I'm thinking, for example, Jalen Hurts to a guy like AJ Brown, right? He went crazy this week. AJ Brown had a really good game, but then Devonta Smith didn't really do anything. But Devonta Smith, he has high upside potential, right? Like the guy won the Heisman record. Say for example, the Eagles play somebody who's just a complete lockdown cornerback. They defensively scheme up. They scheme everything so that AJ Brown is not able to get open, and they got to move to Devonta Smith. He's the second read, and there he goes, right?
Okay. Also, not too expensive, only $20. So I'll definitely take a look into it.
Yeah, and they got the Monday. They actually have the Monday Night Football game next week too, which is cool. So that could be a specific challenge on the Monday night. And they also play a really good team and a really good defense, like the Minnesota Vikings. So you saw what they did to the Packers. If they lock down AJ Brown, did I say AJ Green earlier? I meant AJ Brown. I don't know which one I said, but I meant AJ Brown.
No worries.
And there you go. Then Devonta Smith could become a good option, and because he's got deep ball potential. He could go for a 80-yard catch and run.
Okay.
And that's 9 fantasy points right there. So, or not 9.
All right,
sorry.
I'll do my research. I definitely like to hear more opinions about this subject. Now, Eric, I'm just gonna share your YouTube channel. Is that okay?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. I've been following Eric for a while. He was one of the first YouTubers I started watching. Here we go. It's called NFTY Sports. So whoever is watching this, if you don't know Eric by now, he does a lot of content on football, also baseball and the NBA. But I really like his takes on football. He really helped me in the first week getting Cooper Cup in one of the videos I saw. So go check it out. I'm also going to leave a link in the bio. And that's it, Eric. I want to thank you for today. It was fun talking some football.
My man, thank you for having me on, and thank you for supporting for so long. I know we were talking before this and getting to know each other a little bit more, but you've been a big supporter for over a year now, and it's crazy to think that it's come this long. And I'm excited for you and your channel, and for you to grow your community over there too. So thank you so much, Noam. It was great to be here.
It was great, Eric. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, take care. Bye.